welcome back to my YouTube channel. This is Robert Ralph, freelance writer and content creator. So by popular demand, I've brought out my Insta360 camera once again. So that does mean that during today's video, if you would like to click on the screen and move your mouse around, you should get a 360 degree view. If you're on a mobile phone, once again, if you move your mobile phone around, you should see the area around me. So why not give it a go now before we start the video. Today I wanted to talk about content creation. Where do you get your ideas from on the subjects and topics that you want to write on Medium? Nice waterfall just to my right. So, of course, there are a couple of different things for you to think about before you start writing. One is the topic that you want to write about. Is it a subject that you have great knowledge on? If you have good knowledge on your chosen subject, then of course you probably don't need to do a lot of research, and you can probably come up with a number of topics that the Medium reading audience would like. However, if like me, when I joined Medium, I wasn't exactly sure what to write about, how can you discover your niche or think about what topics would work best on this platform? I have spoken about this before briefly. What I did when I first joined Medium was to go to my specialised subject. In a day job, I'm a commercial director, but effectively what I've done for the past 6 years is sold hot tubs, swim spas, swimming pools, steam rooms, saunas, that type of product. So my go-to is to actually talk about a brand called Jacuzzi. If you go back to the very start, you'll see it was the first article that I wrote. It ended up being a massive flop. I guess at the time people had no interest in hot tubs, or perhaps it was just a question it was poorly written. But that's what I went to because it was a subject I knew everything about, or a lot about. And yeah, I sat in front of my PC, typed away, and that was what I started with. I followed that on with another article about hot tubs also, giving some of the benefits of purchasing a hot tub, why it's good for you, the pros and the cons, that type of thing. So that's how I started on Medium. So with that not working too well for me, I decided to branch out into some other areas. What I've really settled on now as a writer, due to my platform, due to my publication that I run, New Writers Welcome and What Is Love to You, I concentrate on helping new writers on the platform. So I do write a lot of help topics, and I do have a help section. So if you are new to the Medium platform, I will put a link in the description below. If you click on that link, it will give you lots of articles with helpful tips when you first join the platform. The second type of content that I concentrate on, of course, is love. Hence my publication, What Is Love to You? It's not necessarily about couples and relationships. It can also be about things that you love in life. It could be walking in a beautiful park just like I am today. It could be something about the love for cooking, or the love for sport or dance, music, that type of thing. Anything that you love, as long as it's love related, that's the type of thing that I also write about. The next thing that I actually chose to write about is probably the thing that I'm best known for on the platform, which is writing personal stories. I must admit, it wasn't something I intended to do. I wrote a few personal stories and it just took off. People liked the content. So I am an open book. I don't mind talking about certain topics. Today I released an article about how I became a male escort as an example. And again, if that interests you, I'll link that in the topic below, in the comments below also. So the next topic that I now concentrate on, again, I really stumbled into it. It was a question of writing a story. It was one of my, or my viral story, if you like, which was, I used to work in the adult industry, 11 facts you don't know about me. That's kind of led me into writing a little bit of very light erotica type stories. And I try to put a little bit of humour into those stories as well. So they are personal stories. They are stories that have happened to me. As of yet, I think I've only ever written one fictional story, but that is something else that I'm thinking about getting into. And lastly, the other type of articles that I write, again, I really stumbled into it, having found about 6 months ago now something called a Remarkable 2, which is a writing device. I'll link that article below as well. I've started doing a bit of reviews on products and also breaking news. Breaking news is something that goes down quite well, providing you've got your finger on the pulse. You really need to be one of the first few writers to break that news. If you're not one of the first few writers, it'll probably flop. But if you can be one of the first couple of writers to break news, that's also a really good subject, providing you got your facts straight. So that's great. I've given you a load of topics that I've written about and that has done fairly well for me, all apart from the first one, I guess. But how exactly does that help you? It doesn't really, not unless you're thinking about writing about one of those topics. What I will say though, if you verge on light erotica or even deeper, something a bit more hard content in terms of sexual, you won't get Q-rated for that. So that is just one thing I should mention to you. But like I said, none of my stuff is graphic. It's just a little bit light-hearted, factual, light-hearted, and try and put a bit of humour into that as well. So if you're not sure what to write about on Medium, what can you do? Well, the first thing I suggest is you read a ton of stories, because you reading other people's articles and stories will give you some sort of inspiration. Get a pad and paper, read a story. Equally, what I would suggest is if it's a story you particularly like, have a look at the comments. Very often writers ask questions in the comment section, and you might pick up one or two ideas of those questions. It may be worth, if you can write an article on a question that somebody has asked, it may be worth actually tagging them in that article, just to say that you've got the answer for them. I wouldn't suggest multiple tagging people or tagging people all the time, but it is a good way of building relationships and getting some content. Another way of getting content is to actually search the internet about hot topics. You can also search Medium on trending stories. So what's hot and what's not, you can certainly do that via Google or via Medium, and hopefully if you've got some knowledge of that, or if you're prepared to do some homework and look into that, that could be your next article and a viral story. Perhaps another way of creating content is to actually ask your audience what they're interested in. So that might be a good way of doing it as well. Perhaps creating a poll, say these are a list of things I'm thinking of writing. What's your suggestions? Would you be interested in reading any of this type of content? I do actually have something called a year's worth of medium titles that I wrote probably about 5 or 6 months ago. If that's something that might interest you, I will link it in the description below. I will warn you, it is some paid content. You will have to pay for that content. But essentially what it does is it gives you 52 medium titles and a brief outline of what that article will be about, how you can write that article, and what you might get from it also. So that's maybe worth something to think about, and I'll link that in the description below. The last one that I think that I will talk about today is if you are actually interested in a topic, but A, you can't find it on Medium, or B, you just want to do your own research yourself. So that's a good way. If sometimes you find something that you're interested in, there'll be like-minded people on the Medium platform who are also interested in that given subject. So do your own research, have a little bit of fun doing so, and create good quality content with lots of facts to back up your article. There we go. Well, I hope you enjoyed today's content. Once again, the Insta360 camera, have a little look around. Sorry it's not a better day here in Wales. It's a bit of a nippy day, bit of a cold day. But yeah, have a little look around, enjoy the scenery, what you can see of it. Thank you for watching today's YouTube video. Until the next time, please like and subscribe. Leave any comments in the section below, and I will answer every single one. If you want to subscribe, hit the little bell button, and every time a video drops, you'll be notified of that video. Thank you.